Hi everyone. How are you doing? Today channel Dan Sreyoun is going to present you about sentence structure and types of sentences. What's independent clause? An independent clause can stand alone as a sentence. It contains a subject and a verb and is a complete idea. For examples, I like spaghetti. He reads many books. What's dependent clause? A dependent clause is not a complete sentence. It must be attached to an independent clause to become complete. This is also known as a subordinate clause. For examples, although I like spaghetti, because he reads many books. What's subject? A person, animal, place, thing, or concept that does an action. Determine the subject in a sentence by asking the question, who or what. For examples, I like spaghetti. He reads many books. What's verb? Expresses what the person, animal, place, thing, or concept does. Determine the verb in a sentence by asking the question, what was the action or what happened? For examples, I like spaghetti. He reads many books. The movie is good. The be verb is also sometimes referred to as a copula or a linking verb. It links the subject, in this case, the movie, to the complement or the predicate of the sentence, in this case, good. What's object? A person, animal, place, thing, or concept that receives the action. Determine the object in a sentence by asking the question, the subject did what? Or, to whom, or for whom. For examples, I like spaghetti. He reads many books. What's prepositional phrase? A phrase that begins with a preposition i.e., in, at, for, behind, until, after, of, during, and modifies a word in the sentence. A prepositional phrase answers one of many questions. Here are a few examples. Where? When? In what way? For example, I like spaghetti for dinner. He reads many books in the library.
Hi everyone. English sentence structure. The following statements are true about sentences in English. 1. A new sentence begins with a capital letter. For example, he obtained his degree. 2. A sentence ends with punctuation, a period, a question mark, or an exclamation point. For example, he obtained his degree. 3. A sentence contains a subject that is only given once. For example, Smith he obtained his degree. 4. A sentence contains a verb or a verb phrase. For example, he obtained his degree. 5. A sentence follows subject plus verb plus object word order. For example, he, subject, obtained, verb, his degree, object. 6. A sentence must have a complete idea that stands alone. This is also called an independent clause. For example, he obtained his degree. Hi everyone. Types of sentences. There are 4 types of sentences such as 1. What's simple sentence? A simple sentence contains a subject and a verb, and it may also have an object and modifiers. However, it contains only one independent clause. Here are a few examples. She wrote. She completed her literature review. He organized his sources by theme. They studied APA rules for many hours. 2. What's compound sentence? A compound sentence contains at least 2 independent clauses. These 2 independent clauses can be combined with a comma and a coordinating conjunction or with a semicolon. Here are a few examples. She completed her literature review, and she created her reference list. He organized his sources by theme, then, he updated his reference list. They studied APA rules for many hours, but they realized there was still much to learn. 3. What's complex sentence? A complex sentence contains at least 1 independent clause and at least 1 dependent clause. Dependent clauses can refer to the subject who, which, the sequence time, since, while, or the causal elements because, if of the independent clause. If a sentence begins with a dependent clause, note the comma after this clause. If, on the other hand, the sentence begins with an independent clause, there is not a comma separating the 2 clauses. Here are a few examples. Although she completed her literature review, she still needed to work on her method section. Note the comma in this sentence because it begins with a dependent clause. Because he organized his sources by theme, it was easier for his readers to follow. Note the comma in this sentence because it begins with a dependent clause. They studied APA rules for many hours as they were so interesting. Note that there is no comma in this sentence because it begins with an independent clause. 4. What's compound complex sentence? Sentence types can also be combined. A compound complex sentence contains at least 2 independent clauses and at least 1 dependent clause. For examples, she completed her literature review, but she still needs to work on her methods section even though she finished her methods course last semester. Although he organized his sources by theme, he decided to arrange them chronologically, and he carefully followed the meal plan for organization. With pizza and soda at hand, they studied APA rules for many hours, and they decided that writing in APA made sense because it was clear, concise, and objective. Thank you for watching my videos. Please subscribe, like and share to channel Dan Sreyoun in order to get more videos. Thank you.